I appear to be trapped in some kind of rated R rated R movie trailer. I'm sorry, I'm messed up. I'm not seeing it mirrored, so I don't know where I am. So Mortal Kombat 2, the official movie trailer is just released, and I'm going to do a reaction because, you know, it's expected of every notable MK content creator. Big ones like Sonic RXD, True Underdog, or like nobodies like me, or the people who hate me. So I'm going to react to the trailer in this new format where I can change my size in real time with chroma key features that I didn't know OBS had, but now I do. Then I'm going to react to the Uncaged Fury trailer, which is basically like a parody trailer for one of Johnny Cage's movies that they made. That's pretty cool. That came out yesterday. Hopefully this won't go completely wrong as I try and navigate where I am. Oh no, my hand, it's cut off. Oh, the immersion. The immersion. Let's start. 2.5 minutes. Hopefully we'll see something good. I have actually been potentially spoiled on something about this movie. There was an article that came up and just said, fortunately for Mortal Kombat fans, da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, you potentially spoiled a major part of the film. We'll see if it's reflected in this itself. If it's not reflected in this, then I won't say what it is. When we get to coverage on the Combat Kings in October when the film comes out, then you'll know. If it is reflected in this, I'll just say, yeah, this is the thing that was spoiled. Holy shit, fuck you. So let's get started. Hopefully I can get through this without... I mean, this is the rated R one. Hopefully that's just for swearing and a tiny bit of gore, and I won't have to censor too much, because otherwise I have to censor my face. We've stalled enough, let's go. So I just need to interrupt the video briefly to explain how this is actually going to go in the end. So I rendered the video out and I've uploaded it 3 different times with constant copyright issues from Warner Bros. Because they put the trailer in the Content ID system because they are fucking demons. The way I would normally do this kind of thing is I would record myself separately and then chroma key in Vegas. It and the video, you know, the trailer and whatnot, will be separate files. So I could edit the trailer in different ways, put all kinds of effects on it. But because I chroma keyed it in OBS as I recorded it, I'm baked into the footage, so I can't do anything about it. All I can really do is chop it to fuck and just have, here's a couple of seconds, I react to that couple of seconds, and then we move on to another couple of seconds later. This is no way to actually watch the trailer. If you've not seen the trailer, you're going to have to watch it somewhere else, because this is not a way to experience it, because I've had to chop it up so much, and I'm not doing the full recording session again. You'll see by the end how long it was. So while I think my overall thoughts will still make sense, it's best to have a frame of reference for what the trailer shows before you actually watch the rest of this video. You know, please make sure you've done that, then watch the rest of the video, and hopefully this time, attempt number 4, lucky number 4, it's my number. Hopefully Warner Bros. Content ID bullshit isn't gonna delay this any longer. Holy shit, it takes like 2 hours to render even at 720p. I need a new computer, Jesus.
Uno mas, thanks.
Johnny Cage. I'm not going to pause constantly. I'm not too big on Johnny's design. We got a really good look at it with the game costume, because in M1K they added a few movie costumes. The new designs are... there's some good to them, but I think overall, as with the first film, the designs are pretty hit or miss. Scorpion, from what we've seen, seems to be just the same design. Sub-Zero, who even knows if he'll be leaving me back as Sub-Zero. Maybe he'll be back as Noob Saibot. Half you watching already know this, I'm sure. They already know the answer, so let's go.
I loved Citizen Cage when I was a kid.
When I was a kid? I've been working on this for a while. It's about all of Johnny Cage's movies, every single one from all the media, and I felt like when this movie drops, or is about to drop, that's a good time to release it. So in October, I plan to release that video, and so I need to get as much information as I can about all these films. That's interesting. From when I was a kid, that means that this was a while ago. This is like 10, 20 years ago that this movie was made. That's interesting. We don't often get time frames for Johnny Cage's movies. It's usually just this movie happened at some point. Sometimes it's, oh, this one's upcoming. Sometimes you'll see advertising suggesting it's recent. That tells us that this was a long time ago. This is definitely an MKX11 adjacent Johnny Cage, an older one, which I assume then he's probably not going to have a thing going with Sonya, because I feel like Sonya's roughly like MK1 to 3 era Sonya, whereas Johnny seems to be notably older. We'll see.
They should do a reboot.
Nobody wants that.
He is right. No one wants these terrible reboots. It's also just really funny to watch Carl Urban do an American accent. He's done it before. I can't think of specific examples. After getting so used to him on The Boys as Billy Butcher, it's like when you see Tom Holland in interviews for the first time after watching the MCU Spider-Man films, or watch him enough in interviews, then go back to the film, it's like, it sounds a bit off. You know? Accents are a funny thing. Ooh, more posters. Uncaged Fury, Taking Care of Business. It's hard to say what that film is. The MK3 font. There's a whole Twitter account focused on the MK3 font showing up everywhere. It's good that MK itself is finally using it somewhere again. I don't know if the production team even know that was used in MK3. I like to think they do, but who knows?
Johnny Cage.
Okay. That design, obviously they're going for an MK2-ish design. The hat just looks a bit off with this, because I feel like it fit better with the older design. Roughly that colour hat, I feel like they should go something a bit close to the games for this game costume. Not a huge deal. I imagine that if Raiden's wearing this, he's probably going to get an action scene, because this looks like a fighter's tunic. I know it's because it's taken from the games where he is a fighting game character, but the original design just felt more like casual clothes. This feels like... This has the vibe of in Battle of the Realms. The outfit's not a major change, but he does change outfit when he is mortal and going to compete in the tournament. It'll be interesting to see if this film is going for something similar. And there's Sonya in the back just wearing like a jacket over what appears to be her outfit from the first film. The jacket kind of makes her look like Johnny. It's interesting though that the trailer's focusing on Johnny as if he's the main character. I kind of suspect that could be the case. We'll see. New Line Cinema, hooray! Oh, it's so sad to see a Warner Bros. Discovery company. But behind it, we have a cool thing, that big mountaintop temple. I wonder if this is kind of a mix of the Sky Temple, Raiden's base operations, and the Wuxi Academy, because what we got last time was just a cave. It wasn't really anything. It was just in a generic desert. It wasn't like here. I think it's called the Yellow Mountains. I could be completely wrong, but like, this is such an iconic place in China, like with this kind of scenery. It's a really good spot to use as the basis for this. I mean, I think it's called Dragon Roost, one of the stage in Tekken that has been in multiple games, and they even put it in Pokken. That's based there too. It's a really good backdrop for a fight, and you can see the little dudes. You can see the little dudes down there fighting. Yep, they're fighting. This is where the image of Kitana came from. The first image we got of her, the set photo, just before we saw what the game version looked like. I think the outfit looks fine. It obviously draws a bit on the Revenant designs, which is not bad. I mean, the Revenant designs are a bit too spiky armor, but if you tone it down a bit, they can make a solid design. The problem for me is the boots. Obviously, they're going for practicality because the actress has to, or her stunt doubles and whatnot have to act in these costumes. They have to do the fight scenes. Practical boots make sense instead of the high heels. It's just kind of like generic black boots. They couldn't even make them like a nice blue or something. And like she's just wearing, it's just pants. Like you really couldn't find any way to make it a bit more interesting to look at. Like blue down with little bits of black, or maybe like one of those cool flap things that a bunch of designs have, like her in MK9. We can't even get that. It's just kind of lame. It feels like two different costumes when you compare the upper body and lower body. Like the upper body this is Kitana. Lower body, Sonya maybe? Like she stole Sonya's pants and boots and she's like, yeah, this is very practical. I feel good wearing these. But then again, in fairness, I suppose the fight scene's going to mostly focus on the upper body. The talking scene's mostly upper body. The lower body's not going to get as much focus unless she does a lot of kicks or Johnny goes for a nut punch. It shouldn't be too big a problem. It's just a bit of a shame that Kitana's not got a mask. It is an iconic part of the design, and it's a shame that this version doesn't have that. Maybe she will later, but I feel like if she was going to wear it, it would be during a fight. They're probably just going to go for the warrior princess angle, not the assassin for the emperor angle. The question then is, we know that Sindel's in this, and so is Shao Kahn. Is Kitana loyal to Shao Kahn? Is she waiting for the right opportunity? Has she had her memories altered? Is she mind controlled? We don't know. It remains to be seen. Though I'm going to guess mind control is probably lower on the priority list. I just get the vibe that that's less likely. Even if there's enough of that stuff in Mortal Kombat lore, I could make a 20-minute video, and I did.
It's called Mortal Kombat.
Well, there's the kicks. Wait, is her hair loose? Did her hair come loose, or... I think it might come loose then, because some of these shots, it looks a little like the MKX one. I'm sure that's not what they're going for at all, but... Oh, yeah, there's the mask. Oh! She has a mask, and she's got braids, so it kind of resembles the MK... This must be two different scenes. Unless the hair is down there, and we just can't see it. The only way this makes sense is if either she loses the mask during the fight, or takes it off, and maybe does her hair up, or this is one scene and then maybe he's intruding somewhere and she's like, no, leave, and then this is an actual tournament fight, but they seem to be in the same location, so it's interesting. Unless this is secretly a new Melina. We don't know. But it is cool to see some of the actual stuff. Okay, kicking the fans around like she's done in a couple of games, particularly MK11. Very cool. It's just good to see her do more stuff with the fans than just like disarming people and stuff, because she didn't do much action in the original films. She didn't get a lot of time to do much fighting in Legacy. She didn't do much fighting in Legacy either, so there wasn't much time to really do any of the cool stuff with the fans. Plus, that show clearly had something of a limited budget for the effect, so here we finally get to see some cool Kitana action. Hopefully it'll be more than just like one scene. I think even Legends films didn't really do much with it. It's just kind of the fans are fans. It's like when you're looking at the story modes and the characters tend not to actually do much with their abilities and weapons. They just fight. And it's like, you got all these cool moves in gameplay. Like, why can't Melina teleport during a cutscene battle? You know, it's so strange. I get that it's somewhat for balancing reasons, but it's just the fights just aren't as interesting when the characters can't use the full kits. And hopefully we'll get to see some of that here. Well, that guy's fucked. I'm guessing this is a flashback to Jared's death. That's the right kind of vibe of There's a Sunset. This is the sunset on Edenia's freedom. You know, the regal armor. This is Jared being killed by Shao Kahn. Shao doesn't actually look too bad. I was worried from the game version. They do seem to have taken some of the draconic elements, so that's not just because he has those in the game, therefore he has to have them here. Like, it seems like the costume was more faithful to the film than we actually realised. It doesn't look too bad in motion.
Fuck that.
Oh, impaled with the hammer. That's neat. That's certainly a more interesting kill than what he did in Annihilation, where he just broke Johnny's neck and that was it. And that was... Oh, no, he also knocks Rain with his hammer into a fire pit. It was like the most PG-13 shit ever here. They're like, we're going to get more violent with Shao Kahn, which he should be. I felt one of the most intimidating things Kahn ever did on screen was in Aftermath, when he was beating Geras' head in with his hammer. Like, the viciousness of it was actually pretty cool. We don't really get that in many other places. Usually it's just the hammer is a special event thing. He'll occasionally whip it out, but usually he doesn't. Hopefully he will be using it a bit more. Not too much, don't need to rely on it too much. You want to show that he can fight hand to hand as well. You want that balance with a character like him. With a character like Kitana, for example, it's not as big a deal, but you need to show that Shao is a very capable warrior. He is a real threat. We don't want him to just get steamrolled by Johnny Cage in the end, so... Ooh, oh, okay. So right there, the cool blue portals at one stage in MK3, I forget what it's called. It has a really weird name, I think it's something backwards. Liu Kang's got this new red outfit, it seems, and he's encountering Kung Lao. Is this a dream sequence? Is this Kung Lao's back? Because Lao doesn't seem to be a Revenant, although he does have armor. Perhaps drawn a bit on the Revenant design, although maybe I should stop yapping and actually just watch this trailer and see what we get. Well, there's Cole. Oh! Kano's right back. Not got the Metal Eye, sadly. Yeah, I was expecting Kano, Kung Lao, and Bihan to come back. I'm sure we'll see Noob Saibot at the end of the trailer. It's like the big thing. I was expecting them to come back as more of a shock and just be evil, mind control people. It's possible that they'll do a thing where the Elder God, someone forces them to bring certain people back. I like that Kano seems to be wearing black and red. That's been his go-to colour scheme since MK3. And a lot of costumes that don't have it tend to have that as an alternate colour palette. Like in M1K, the MK1 Kano has that as an alternate colour palette. So good to see my boy Kano. You know, I'm repping the Black Dragon here because, you know, Kano was the highlight for everyone, whether you're a fan of the first film or not. He was the big thing. It's interesting that Cole took a minute to actually show up when he was the main character of the first film. It's possible that they're just going to cycle through different characters to be the protagonist each time, which is an interesting pick, though it does run the risk of everything was leading up to the tournament and then the second film is the tournament and someone else gets to be the hero. You know, at least when Liu Kang was kind of nothing in Scorpion's Revenge and then got to win in Battle of the Realms, he'd at least been there a lot. It's not completely out of nowhere. This has that feel of like the ending of Injustice 1. Just another Superman just shows up and just rocks evil Superman in like an afternoon and that's it. Problem solved. So I worry that it could be like that. Hopefully not, because for all my problems with Cole Young, I don't want them to just replace him. I want them to make him better. Because I think the film series will suffer if they just get rid of him as a character or relegate him to the background. You could say, oh well, he had his time, he avenged his ancestor, killed Sub-Zero, but Bihan's coming back as Noob Saibot. So that's not resolved. If Sub-Zero was just dead and gone, which in another way would be a net negative for these films because he was so cool, no pun intended, but actually maybe it was in the previous film. So I get it, but it's good that we're getting the three best characters from the last film back. That's good, even if they're all dead, but it does run the risk of making it that Cole Young's story is not properly resolved, but they might just try and move on without him, which I don't think would be a good idea.
You dickheads in or what?
I was somewhat hyped, and then I saw she's bald. I'm not seeing much of the actress. I think I saw her face when she was announced as Jade. Yeah. You know, when we first saw Tanya in M1K, trust me, I'm going somewhere with this, and we had the Ungadi, and it's like, okay, these warrior women who defend the crown, and like the leader is this black woman with a staff. It's a multi-section staff, but it's still a staff. You could tell that the clear inspiration was the Dora Milaje from Black Panther, right? Some people got angry about people saying that. It's not a racist thing. It's just an observation that clearly that was the inspiration. And now Jade's bald. It could be just for the sake of having her look distinct from the other characters. That's a possibility. You know, we don't want Jade to just look like Kitana with a different skin colour and a different outfit colour. I feel like bald wasn't the right way to go. I hope the actress doesn't actually have some kind of hair condition, and then I just sound really insensitive. I'm going to look up a picture, and if you see the picture here and this section is still in the video, then it's not, it's fine. If you don't see this, well, you don't see this.
I don't have transformer arms.
Jack sparring with Cole and Liu Kang. And you can see Johnny and Sonya there, so I'm guessing Johnny has a few scenes, like 10 minutes or so, introducing him. Raiden and Sonya show up, bring him right here to the temple. Maybe Raiden is in there, maybe not. Sonya's there, and she's like, yeah, come on, let's go meet the others. They come out, and this is our introduction in the film to these three characters. It's like, yeah, Cole Young and whatnot. Maybe Johnny may have heard of Cole Young, you never know. He may have met Jax at some point. I doubt it, but it's possible. And then later on, we'll get about 20 more minutes of setup, and then it's like, oh, Kano is going to be accompanying us for the tournament. Are your dickheads coming or what? And then they go to Outworld. I enjoy doing this kind of thing, just being like, okay, I see this thing in a trailer, I can predict it. Because I got most of M1K story down pretty accurately from the trailers. Remember, I predicted the twist from the first trailer. So, you know, don't write me off just yet. And if I'm wrong about this, it doesn't count. My record's still flawless. Okay, so it looks like Liu Kang will be fighting Shao Kahn. I find the Raiden bit interesting. The hat looks weird, the fact that it's not falling off his head. But anyway, he also looks kind of CGI. Anyway, so the point is, I have a few ideas for this. Could it be that Raiden will have a fight, be losing, and then get a big zap from someone, or just from the gods or something, and he's like, oh, I'm awake again? Will it be that he has to leave his body to speak with the Elder Gods? So there'll be a scene where he consults the Elder Gods, and he has to leave his body to do that, astral projection kind of thing, then he comes back to it? Or is it possible that this could be part of a mortal transformation? I'm not completely sold on the idea of that being in the film. It's probably not, but it's possible. Okay, here's the interesting part. The other shots we've seen is Liu Kang in his red outfit, and here he is in this outfit. So either this is what he wears to the tournament, this is his official tournament get-up, wearing it after the events of the previous film, and this is going to be at the tournament. Alternatively, this is a dream sequence, and he's just dreaming about fighting and defeating Shao Kahn. Because I feel like Liu Kang fighting Shao Kahn in this continuity just doesn't make any sense. He's really not done much, unless we're going to get a bit like in Battle of the Realms, where we establish how strong Shao is by having him just decimate everyone else. I doubt he would kill Liu Kang off. I could see them killing off Cole that way, and maybe Jax, just because Jax has always been kind of a secondary character, whereas like Johnny, Liu Kang, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya, I think I said Sonya, I don't think I did. Those characters are all like the primary ones, whereas Jax has always been, he's around most of the time, but he's not like an essential, super important character to the story. You know, he's there to supplement Sonya more than anything. I mean, there's not even a big arena. Up to this point, we've not seen whether there'll be a big arena. I would imagine there would be, because it'd be weird to do the Outworld tournament without the big Outworld tournament Coliseum. This could just be Liu Kang trying to ambush him, but again, why would Liu Kang be fighting Shao Kahn like of his own volition? Or why would he get a real shot from a writing standpoint? Because he has no real connection there. Maybe they're going to establish some stuff with the Shaolin and that they got attacks, but the thing with that is, in the games, there was the whole Liu Kang won the tournament, Shao Kahn attacked the Wuxi Academy as retaliation for that and to lure him to Outworld so that he could fight him and kill him. I mean, maybe that's what Kano is talking about, is like the place is under attack now and by Shao's forces. But then again, we kind of already did that in the first film, so even if it's just for a 5-minute, 10-minute sequence in this film, it still feels like it would be a bit of a waste to do that again. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be something good at least, whether it's real or fake, like just a dream or something. Hopefully it'll be a decent fight scene. There's Baraka. I did see an image of Baraka a while ago. It's of the actor in the costume, and you could see the teeth. I don't know if it was real or fake. I think it looks somewhat like this. It is kind of funny how we keep getting Johnny Cage versus Baraka, because we got that in Scorpion's Revenge and Battle of the Realms, but in the games, these two characters have fuck all to do with each other. Like, I feel like Baraka's more traditionally a Kung Lao rival because of the whole attack on the Wuxi Academy that Baraka personally led. You know, you can fight him as Kung Lao and Shaolin monks. Then Armageddon had that fight in the intro. They fight in the intro of Shaolin monks. There's a lot there. But nowadays, Baraka's a Johnny rival, I guess, because Johnny fought him as his second opponent in the tournament in MK9.
I find you annoying.
Oh! Ooh! Oh! The way the mouth moves, maybe it's just because of this wide angle. Maybe it'll look better close up. The teeth look kind of rubbery, look like part of his lips. I feel like they jingle a bit. Oh, that doesn't look good. The design itself is actually pretty decent. I'd prefer the blades personally to have less details, be more smooth metal like they were traditionally. But it's not a bad look. And then having all the bones on him, I think it'd be a little better if there's a bit more rhyme or reason for the bones, like what specifically he's got on. But overall, it's a pretty solid design for Baraka if he rocks up in this in the next game, other than the face paint. Don't quite jive with that. But if he came back in the next game and he had a design like what... I mean, it could, if the current Baraka becomes more savage, or this like an alternate timeline Baraka who's a bit more classic. So clearly for this, they've taken inspiration from places like the Tarkatan village in MK11 and the Tarkatan colony in M1K. It's a bit of a mishmash of those two styles. Pretty neat. Though again, I am concerned about how much focus Johnny is getting in the trailer. Is what's going to happen?
Not the face.
Ooh! Did Jax just get teleported away by someone? Oh no. And so I'm guessing this is like 5 competitors per realm. So that would be, you know, Johnny, Liu Kang, Sonya, Jax, Kano. And then Outworld would be Kitana, Jade, presumably both of them, not just one. Baraka, Noob Saibot, and maybe someone we're not seen yet. It could be Sindel. Oh, there she is! The lack of sleeves gives a bit of an MK11 feel. But like the way it's got the armor around her neck and that, it feels stylistically similar to how Kitana is in this film. That's a good detail. Who is she fighting though? That's the pit bottom. The original pit bottom with the walls. They don't have the spikes here, but like, that's what they're drawing inspiration from. Those are the walls from MK1 and the spike columns. And so it's Sonya versus Sindel. Maybe Sindel's like, you killed my daughter Melina. And Sonya's like, what are you talking? Who is the father? Shao Kahn? Like, did you see Melina in the last film? I don't know. They have to address it, surely. They have to address the fact that Melina and Kitana are so different. Maybe Melina's actually a clone of Jade in this, I don't know.
It's time.
Okay, so that's where this was. This is the Tarkatan colony. It remains to be seen whether these people are also Tarkatans or not. One guy's got his face covered. That's a simple way to save on the budget. You don't have to CGI everyone's faces or make all these elaborate masks. Just cover one guy's face and go, oh yeah, he's got the teeth underneath, don't worry. Trust me. So what is this? Okay, he died and became Scorpion. It could be similar to the dream sequence at the start of Scorpion's Revenge, where Hanzo is back with his family long after they've died, and then he wakes up from that dream when he wakens back in hell. That's one option. Another is it could be some kind of vision where he just appears to Cole as Hanzo, and I just realised...
It's time.
English. He didn't speak English in the first film, he only spoke Japanese, and Cole just, I guess, didn't understand a word he said. He's speaking English, so maybe he is just in Cole's dream to warn him about Noob Saibot or something like that. You know, maybe he can reach out to his descendant and say, Bihan's soul has left hell. Be on the lookout for that. Now, we know he's going to appear as Scorpion again, although the area was surrounded by fire. So I'm guessing there's going to be a little trip to the Netherrealm at some point. Maybe a portal will open and he'll be at the gates there, like, you fuckers are not leaving this place. I'm going to hold you off so Cole and his friends can do their thing. I do like the colours he's wearing, though. I like having the yellow one, because he's kind of just all brown in the last one. Like, this is a good way to actually integrate his proper colours. It reminds me a lot of the second colour palette for Kuai Liang Scorpion's wedding outfit in M1K, because the default one is way too, like, it's a very pale beigey yellow, whereas his alternate colours actually have a proper black and yellow look, and it looks way better. It reminds me of that. I doubt that was an inspiration. I'm sure that the costuming was already done long before that came out, but it looks good.
Alright, you big ugly fuck. It's showtime.
It's another case where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna mix and match clearly different scenes. Like, this is the Tarkatan colony, this will be like around Shao's fortress, a completely different lighting. Maybe he is saying big ugly fuck, and then all the Johnny stuff in this but it's a completely different scene. Or maybe he's saying big ugly fuck to Baraka. It's one of those interesting things when you first realise that, when trailers will just manipulate the shots and be like, the characters are laughing at this thing. It's like, well, they're not. They're clearly not. And, you know, there's Liu Kang. I don't know what he's doing. He looks like he's trying not to laugh. Jax looks somewhat concerned. Sonya's just average Sonya expression when looking at Johnny Cage. But again, there's Liu Kang in his outfit from the first film, so I guess this is his tournament outfit. So if he's wearing red, that's unrelated to the tournament. That's just sparring stuff. Even though I'd like him to have more red on his outfit. Interesting that he's not wearing the bandana, because he got that from Kung Lao's hat in the first film when Kung Lao died, and then he puts it on, a decent enough explanation for why he has it. He's not wearing it here. It would be really funny, actually, if all the Johnny Cage stuff was just a fucking lie, and this is all just the Johnny Cage movie version, and that the reality is, no, that this is actually Cole in the real film. Johnny's just bullshitting, and Johnny don't really do much. I do enjoy seeing Johnny do stuff more, but that could be a pretty funny thing. I mean, my idea for how I would do a trailer if I was ever in charge of an MK movie or show or something is, the first trailer is just the trailer for Johnny Cage's thing, and then the camera pans out in like a little theatre where the trailer's being shown to some executives, and one of them's like, damn Johnny, how do you come up with this stuff? And Johnny just looks at the camera like, let me tell you. And then like the logo would pop up going Mortal Kombat. I doubt they're going to do that. I feel, because of Warner Bros is Warner Bros, I don't think they would allow something like this. I feel like they'd be like, no, just do it straight. Just market this like a normal film, as in wait until like 3 months before the movie comes out before you show anything. I don't understand Warner Bros. I really don't.
It's showtime.
Oh, this pose, that's very similar to his stance from MK11. I don't know if that was something they told him to do, something he decided to do, whether it's a massive coincidence, but I appreciate the attention to detail, intentional or otherwise. Scorpion in the Nether Realm. That was Noob. Yeah, so it looks like it's just going to be basically the same outfit, a few extra little bits of spikes here or there, similar to MK11, but basically melding his Noob Saibot MK11 with M1K movie, 2021 rather, movie. Although it was an M1K, so I was not technically wrong. Looks like he's mixing the two, but mostly sticking to what we already had. Oh no, that's just MK11 Noob Saibot. Hell yeah. See, it's a shame this trailer wasn't already out before those costumes were put in the game, because having this Noob Saibot as a costume would have been so fucking good. I feel like I probably would have dropped the Johnny one, because the Johnny one isn't very good. It does have a bit of that fan film vibe. You know, fan films tend to be more authentic to the costumes and the source material, so it can look a little hokey. But holy shit, it looks so good. I wasn't expecting this. I was genuinely expecting just the Sub-Zero outfit but black, or he just comes back as Sub-Zero because movie studios think the audience can't understand. Like when Megatron came back from the dead in the movies, and he was just still Megatron, he wasn't Galvatron. Galvatron was a separate thing that came later, you know? And then even after that, they stopped calling him Galvatron after one movie, I think. So I was expecting for it to be, oh yeah, this is Sub-Zero. Now this could be a twist in the film, that this is Noob Saibot, and then it's like, holy shit, Bi-Han. I hope they do have an explanation for why he is different, whereas Kano and Kung Lao are not. I hope they do explain it, because you kind of have to. Because it's an issue the games have where it's like Quan Chi has Revenants, Spectres, and Wraiths, and there's no rhyme or reason for why he does any of that to any of them. It's...
Get over here!
Okay, that's just Ed Boon's voice, so obviously that's not going to be the case. That's just there for the trailer. I'm sure he'll say something different, or just say get over here in Japanese or something. It's odd that they put Ed Boon's voice in there, but I guarantee that's not going to be in the final film. It was fine in the Threshold continuity, because all he said was with Ed Boon's voice. Even new lines like, get down here, welcome, sucker, all these lines was still Ed Boon. It didn't say anything else, so it felt fine. But we know what Scorpion sounds like here. It was like when, in MKX, when we have Hanzo on screen using the Ed Boon voice when he's played by Patrick Seitz for every other line. It's weird and doesn't work. And it also takes away from an actor's playing Scorpion. Get over here is Scorpion's I'm Batman. It's one of those lines that you want every actor who plays them, voice actor, live action, you want them all to get a chance to say it. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, the effects weren't very good. The colour here looks a bit off. Like the way the armour is like golden. It reminds me a lot of the colour coding in Justice League, the theatrical cut, particularly with Superman, where obviously the original outfit was very dark. They colour balanced it too much, like really upped the colours and made it very radioactive blue, and it looked so bad. The blood effects on the shadow is interesting that Saibot has blood at all. I would have made it red personally, but I guess maybe they wanted it to have more impact. And yeah, red blood obviously does have more impact than green or purple. It's why back in the day, aliens could be recolored, had their blood, like in Dragon Ball or Shadow the Hedgehog, and it would be fine suddenly. I am glad that this film's doing one thing, which is, I mean, they could still do it. There's like 19 seconds left. So far, they've only shown one fatality, which the last film, I guess because they were eager to show this one has all the violence. Unfortunately, they showed off too many of the kills. They didn't show off the best one, but they showed off most of them. So hopefully, we're not going to see more than just this, or the Jared one. I mean, the Jared one's backstory, so it doesn't really count. It's a really good logo. It's good to hear a take on Techno Syndrome in the trailer. Hopefully we'll get like a proper epic version for the film. I really like the one for 2021. It was a really solid take. I know it's a bit weird to be like, I think it was like dubsteppy. I know it's weird to complain about that when the original version is techno, which, you know, you wouldn't think would work for a Mortal Kombat film, but it really did. But like, I want to get in different styles for each of these films. A new rendition every time. I think that would be really fitting for the Outworld movie, like a big epic orchestral thing. And then maybe if we get like an Invasion of Earth, where it's like Hell on Earth, then we can get like the heavy metal, industrial metal kind of shit, you know? Or black metal. Can you tell I don't know the difference between any of those things? Ooh! Okay, we seem to be about to get some more kills in the trailer. His voice is covered. It's not very good. I don't like it. It's so weird. So we seem to be getting into the fatality montage, and I'm worried. This is Kung Lao, evil Kung Lao. Is he gonna kill Liu Kang? Would they show that in the trailer? One of the heroes getting offed. Oh, I'm genuinely. Well, I guess I can't have a full conversation about it on the Combat Kings if I don't watch it. So, fingers crossed. Oh no, someone else is gonna die. Liu Kang's fighting. It's hard to tell. It could just be it could just be the lighting, but it looks rather blue. Is it possible that that's Rain? Because Rain was supposed to be in the first film, but they cut him for pacing reasons, because he was just going to show up in the desert and attack the heroes right after the reptile fight, like 5 minutes after that. And so they're like, we can't. So they removed it. So when you do stuff like that, you want to take those ideas and use them in the next one, right? He's in the red outfit, not the white one that you seem to be wearing for the tournament. So is it possible that this is just a dream sequence? Liu Kang will die in the dream, but it's not real, so it's fine? Or is there some different significance to the outfit choices? Or I just can't get over how good this location looks. But then the question of, did they pick one of the more abstract stages because it's a dream sequence? You know? Is there just going to be a journey to hell and this is just a part of hell? Or this is like the nexus between realms? Because we don't see any characters actually travelling between realms. We don't even know for sure that Shang Tsung went right back to Outworld in the previous film. This could be the nexus like in Deception, but it's a bit more hellish. Like taking that idea and mixing it with this stage from MK3 for something a bit more iconic and making a cool new hellscape for the characters to fight in. I hope we do get to see some actual stage interactions from these iconic stages, as opposed to, let's just put the top of the pit in the film, and then no one gets knocked off the bridge. So then we get Kitana. So Kitana's going to fight Shao. The question is this just a sparring thing before the tournament? I mean, she seems quite bloody, so she looks like she's going to actually fight him for real, like in Battle of the Realms. Remember, Battle of the Realms is the worst MK movie. Some people are wrong about that, but yeah, and that film did the same thing. Kitana fights Shao, loses. Doesn't die, but she does fight him and get just decimated. I feel like with a lot of the stuff we saw in Battle of the Realms, the good and the bad is going to be in this. Another of those being too many characters, because this was the issue I had when they announced they were going to bring back the 3 best characters from the last film. I'm glad to see them. The film would be worse without them, but that's in addition to the returning characters who didn't die and also the new characters. So that's a lot. That's a lot of characters to put in one movie. And this is the folly of most of the bad MK movie sequels. Well, all of them. Annihilation did it. Battle of the Realms did it. And this one's doing it, so we'll see. Okay, that's just a dude killed by Baraka. I'm guessing this is part of a flashback to the fall of Edenia, and this will be like someone who's a guard or someone who's trying to escort Sindel. There was a similar scene in the first season of Legacy in the Kitana Melina episode. In the backstory, Jared is escorting Sindel and Kitana out through a secret tunnel, and then Baraka shows up and kills Jared, but it's not Jared, it's like a body double, because they were doing something different with Jared for that series. Then Shao walks in and is like, wow, your king abandoned you, haha. I wonder if that's a similar thing here, that this is the Edenia flashback right at the start of the film to set things off, or about halfway through we'll get a flashback. Maybe Kitana explains her backstory or something like that. Actually, more likely Raiden will just explain the Edenia backstory and then we'll see the flashback, but that's what I imagine this is.
Are you shitting me? You don't have any powers?
Who was that? Who is that? Who is that? Is it just a generic Wraith? They're just going to have a bunch more guys who just look kind of like Noob Saibot. It also looks kind of Cyberlink-ish, but I feel like it's too soon to introduce that. That feels like a third film kind of thing to introduce. You don't want to introduce that alongside the Outworld Tournament in an MK movie sequel, do you?
Just incredibly handsome.
Okay, so will Johnny Cage turn out to actually have powers and he'll awaken them during the film? Or are we going to do another Johnny Cage doesn't do his moves? Because I don't know why the movies are so afraid. I guess because they think it makes him less of an everyman. But like, there's already a limitation on how much of an everyman Johnny Cage is because he's a very successful movie star. Like, he's not just your average, ordinary Joe. And in this series, that's Cole's job. I know he has like the lineage and that, but he's more like a normal guy before he awakens his powers. So maybe they're going to do the same with Johnny. He awakens his powers. It's like, oh, I'm this cool warrior guy. Okay, so they didn't show off too much. So I'm happy they didn't show off too much. They showed off, I think, just the right amount. Although, unless the Kung Lao bit is just a dream sequence, that is a bit too much to show off. Because it seems like Liu Kang, or the person who's fighting, it seems to be fighting. They could just be like doing something else, him and this other person. Like maybe that's Cole, who knows? But I feel like that's not the case. I can't see what they're doing if they're not just like grappling with each other and Kung Lao's like going to kill one of them. But it is interesting how little Cole there was. They may actually be swapping him out for Johnny Cage. I feel like to put out this trailer with Johnny as the centre, and it's like, you know, Carl Urban's a pretty big draw. You know, he's got successful roles, like particularly in The Boys. You know, there's a reason they cast him as Johnny Cage. And I think that's actually really good doing that kind of thing. You get a big name to play a famous character. It's why Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand worked so well, because it's not distracting because, yeah, I recognise him as a celebrity. The character is a celebrity. So it makes sense that you recognise him, whereas everyone else you don't, you know? It's that kind of vibe. I feel like it would be false advertising if they did just have Johnny as the big thing and they do this trailer for one of Johnny's movies that we're about to react to. And I imagine if they do that, and nah, he's not the real star, we lied. It's actually Louis Tan, this guy that his most mainstream role outside of this was in Iron Fist. Iron Fist, the Marvel Netflix show that's maybe not even canon anymore. Overall, the film looks pretty good. Obviously, there's still some things I'm worried about. The trailer hasn't alleviated the too many characters thing, the potential of how they portray Sindel, too many characters, the potential of kind of underselling Cole. I don't like Cole. I think he's a bad character. I would have rather had so many other characters in his place. You could have just swapped him out for Johnny Cage and it would have worked better with the actual personality to the character. But once he's established, you can't just get rid of him. It's not that easy. It's one of those weird things about Battle of the Realms, but at least that gave Scorpion his own side quest. The B plot is there basically to justify why Scorpion is not the main character this time. This is what he's up to, and it factors into the main plot at the end. For all of its faults, they did the protagonist switch decently well. You can't just get rid of the main character and just replace him with someone else. Like, if you're going to replace him with someone as the lead character, it should be someone like Liu Kang, because Liu Kang never got to avenge Kung Lao on Shang Tsung. Interesting that Shang Tsung is not in this trailer. So I assume he's not going to be combatant. I mean, that image with the 5 things, I assume is like 5 warriors per side. And so the villains would be Kitana, Sindel, Noob Saibot. Unless Noob Saibot's just in the Netherrealm as part of Scorpion's B-plot in this film. Like, this really is just live action Battle of the Realms, isn't it? Jade probably will be in it. She could just be the helper Kitana, but I'm sure she'll actually be a proper combatant. Then you have a slot left open. I'm sure Shao doesn't count. Oh, Baraka, yeah. And so now we get this. This is Uncaged Fury, which is not the film that was teased at the end of the previous film. Please, Warner Bros., release that poster. I know, obviously, you hadn't cast Johnny Cage then, so it wouldn't have Karl Urban's face, but like, just put it on. Or just show it and go, like, this is what the production thing was. This is what it looked like. Either version I'll take. I'd like both, but I'll take either. It'd be really cool if we see it in the film. Warner Bros. Are really missing out on a trick by not selling the actual Johnny Cage movie posters just as posters. I'd buy them. That'd be so cool. Here's all these Johnny Cage movie posters from the games and the films and whatnot. Because I've learned this through doing that video mentioned. But you go back to earlier stuff, like the 95 movie never name dropped a single movie Johnny did, and I don't think the novelization did either. The Malibu comics did, most of the stuff that was already mentioned in the games, but the newer stuff is all the time. Johnny's intros are constantly dropping references to these films that he's done. They did an IMDb page for Johnny just as promotion for this film, and the stuff they did for it was actually really fun. They came with a bunch of stuff that Johnny's been in, brand new ones, not just taking ones from the games, like 7 or 8 of them, something maybe a little bit more on that page. So this has become a much more common thing. Just, we often see posters in these movies now. Give us those posters. I want to go all of them going back to fucking Rebirth. I want to see all these posters. Come on, guys, you can do it. I'll make an art book if you're not going to do full posters. It's like the Johnny Cage fan book. So here he is wearing an outfit obviously evocative of the one from MK11. It's different. It's not the same outfit, but the fact that he's wearing this does suggest that this is when he's younger. We'll see. I watched the first few seconds of this yesterday and I forgot what his face looks like, so I guess we'll see.
From New Line Cinema.
Okay, so from that is meant to give off like a 90s, 80s kind of vibe, or 2000s grindhouse. So this is like this is clearly like this is an older one from when Johnny was younger. Interesting detail. It's more than a lot of these productions get.
The studio that brought you Cool Hand Cage and Rebel Without a Cage.
I get it. Citizen Cage was a really fucking good one, but I think just putting Cage in every single one is a bit much. Even if you're gonna go, Johnny Cage is like the big movie megastar. He's like Tom Cruise of this setting. Like everybody loves him. His movies make billions at the box office. He's like one of the biggest names in Hollywood. People want him for everything. Cage Mania. It's just kind of wild. People love him, and so he can kind of do all these like borderline vanity projects. I think even then it's a bit much. We get it. It's Cage. try a different joke.
Uncaged Fury, starring Johnny Cage.
Is this a Kung Fury reference? Or just because I've never seen Kung Fury, but I'm thinking of the little bits that I know of it. Is that what this is a reference to? Let me know in the comments. It'll be useful for a future video. You'll be helping make a future video better.
They fucked with his shades. They should have brought more guys.
I think they've got the vibe down generally. I don't think you'll ever convince anyone this is a real movie, but I think it has the right kind of vibe where this could just be played in the movie. I can sure it'll be like in the background of a shot or something. It's on the TV in the background because it's just another reason to, another excuse to make this. You can use it elsewhere. You can do more with it with a single asset. It makes it more valuable, more of a reason to do it, especially for a studio like Warner Bros. Like, we don't want you to do that. We want you to do this. No, we want to do this instead. Fuck you. But I get these funny vibes because the trailer for Cage Match, I think it was the same trailer announcer.
Joe McHale.
I think that's kind of neat. There's the splits. Yeah, Johnny doing the splits is actually quite rare in adaptation, in anything in general. Like, he did the splits in MK11, but it's not quite the same because it's like a front and back one. He did it in the first movie to punch Goro in the dick. I think he did it to punch Baraka in the dick in Battle of the Realms. But it's not a thing he does commonly, even though it's one of his most iconic moves that he stole from Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Uncaged Fury.
Yeah, it's alright. And then, of course, as with the posters, you don't get any new, special secret lore information from the credits. It's just, these are the credits for the actual movie. So you look at those posters for Johnny's movies and it's like, oh, it's Ludi Lin, Louis Tan, Josh Lawson. Yeah. It would be funny if it was like, yeah, those actors were in Johnny Cage's movies in universe. Overall, what do I think of the trailer? It looks decent enough. It looks like there's going to be more variation in the locations compared to the first film, because, that film was just caves. In a cave and desert for like almost the whole runtime. It seems to have more variety with a couple of actual locations from the games. We get Scorpion versus Noob Saibot. Whether that's part of the tournament, it's hard to say. I'm going to assume not, just because if the whole 5v5 thing is the case, which seems like a solid number for a movie. Again, you don't want to overdo it like Battle of the Realms did, where it's like, oh yeah, there's like 12, 15 combatants. It's one of those things where there's never really been a proper tournament structure. It's usually just whoever the villains want to fight, and you can kind of get away with that when you have other people. Like the original movie, there were a bunch of other guys in the tournament, a lot of them, and so like Liu Kang fights some nobody. That tells you, yes, there's a bunch of fights going on with just random dudes. So even if we only see Johnny Cage in the tournament fighting Scorpion and Goro, that doesn't mean they're his only fights. He could have fought other characters off screen. They're just not important to the plot, so we just skip those. We get the Goro montage where all these dudes are being flipped and he takes like a dozen guys one after the other. That makes the tournament feel a little better than just, here's 5 dudes. Are they all going to get a 1v1 and then we move on to the next round? Or is it just going to be, well, you're here and you're here, so you fight. Then, oh, I see you're here with this other person now, fight them now. Like Shang Tsung in MK9, where he just makes shit up as he goes blatantly. He's like, oh yes, a challenge, Sonya Blade, fight Sub-Zero. Scorpion and the Lin Kuei fight each other in this maybe official tournament. No, it can't be official tournament bout because Cyrax is still fighting. See what I mean? See how fucking stupid this is? It's so dumb. Hopefully this film will actually do it better. It's somewhat forgivable in MK9 because that game is not about the tournaments. There are 2 tournaments in it, but they're not the focus. I mean, the MK2 section largely ignores the tournament. It's like, this is just going on at the same time. This seems to be the tournament. I mean, we did a whole film setting it up. It would be really dumb not to pay that off in this movie with a big focus on the tournament. And Battle of the Realms was supposed to be that, but it got sidetracked with its B-plot, and so it became more about this end of the world stuff where the main character was too distracted to get involved. Hopefully we'll get some decent fights. Not too much shaky cam, not too many quick cuts. I mean, do we really want another Sonic RXD? Look at all these cuts, my friends, and just laugh at it. It could be funny, but ideally we would have some better editing, better fights, because some of the fights in the last one, not that great. I feel like MK historically has not had the best fight scenes in the movies, generally. That could be an interesting video, ranking every MK movie fight. Yeah, you know, after the last few movies have all been animated, and I'm not big on animated action, I do find it kind of hard to follow a lot of the time when they try and be too quick with it. So maybe grounding it in live action a bit will make it a bit more easy for me to follow along, and we can actually appreciate the choreography, because we are getting some cool stuff from the games. We're getting Scorpion using 2 spears, we've got Kitana with all her cool fan stuff, with Sindel using her scream. We are getting this stuff in combat. I mean, Sindel's scream in film has only been used in Annihilation to cause like a landslide. It was not used in any fights, I'm pretty sure. It was just there because she does it. Here they actually implemented it into the fight, which I appreciate. But it is continuing this unfortunate trend where a lot of Sonya's opponents in movies are Kano and women. It's not all she gets. She's had Cyrax, she's had Reptile, but she's like fought Melina twice. She's fighting Sindel now. Lee May, I think. She fought Devora. She was going to fight Jade in the original movie, but that got cut. She fought Ermac. Yeah, it's quite a few ninjas actually. But yeah, Sonya has like specific types of people she fights. It can be a little limited, and here she is fighting a woman. Hopefully she gets a more interesting matchup, as well as that. I dropped my smoke karambit. Hopefully that fight will be good, as well as having some more interesting matchups for Sonya. I'm really curious about the Kung Lao stuff. And to call back to the thing I set up before, no, the thing that was potentially spoiled in that article, in the title, like I don't even open the article, I just saw it as a I just opened my tablet and it was just there. I don't even go on that website. What the fuck are you doing, Lenovo? It was not explicitly spelled out that that thing is going to happen. It's possible, but there's nothing really concrete enough to say one way or the other. So fingers crossed that that thing wasn't a real spoiler, that it was just bullshit, and that I can go into the film blind like I want to. Don't expect reactions to any future trailers. I mean, they'll probably do another trailer like at the start of October and go, this is the new trailer for the movie. That'll show off a bunch more stuff. Probably show a bunch of spoilers. I'm not going to react to that. Don't tell me about it. It's fine. Leave it. Let me go in to watch this movie in peace. I'll probably end up watching this in the cinema. I've never seen an MK movie in the cinema because only one of those has come out in the time that I've been an MK fan. And it was 2021, you know, COVID was still kind of around, but it also came out on like HBO Max like the same day. So I probably will watch this with my mates and hopefully have a good time watching this movie. Because one thing I've learned from this is that you can have a lot more fun watching MK movies when you're watching it with friends. Even if it's a bad one, you can just dunk on it, call it stupid and awful. And hopefully I won't have to do that with this one, but given what the first one was like and how this seems to be most of the same people making it based on the credits, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high. It's the same people, so we should get some level of consistency, which Annihilation did not. So even if it's not good, it shouldn't drop completely off a cliff the way the first film series did. How long have I been going for? An hour? Oh, fuck me.